On this podcast, we talk about the books, both old and new, that are worth putting on your to-be-read list. I'll include the back cover synopsis, content warnings, as well as my pro and con list. To avoid any spoilers, head over to my Instagram at enjoylifewithme.angela. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these books. Let's jump in for the day. Today we're going to be talking about That Time I Played the Mafia Boss by Camilla Evergreen, which is the first book in the series That Time Tall Guys Required Therapy. Now this came out the beginning of July, and the back cover synopsis says, dating the mafia princess next door with the intent to marry her was not in my plans. After a syndicate known only as the Maxim Project kidnaps the leaders of the Valeno family, I spend several grueling months adjusting policies as the new boss. With dissonance and disagreement running rampant of my leadership in question and no trail to follow, the last thing I need is to find myself waking up tied to a chair in Briar Rosanera's bedroom. She's young, chaotic, beautiful, and deadly in ways her family reputation did not prepare me for. As it turns out, my parents weren't the only ones taken. She wants hers back, and she makes her offer hard to refuse. The problem? Her business proposal sounds a lot like a marriage one. This is a dual point of view, dark mafia rom-com. You get the grumpy sunshine, nicknames, fake dating. There is a 14-year age gap as well. Now, the intimacy is high, probably one of the higher ones I've ever read. You get the fade to black, innuendos, talk of sex, lots of skimpy clothing and touching, sharing bed, that kind of thing. Now, the language, I wasn't sure whether to say hi or none because not a single swear word in the whole book, but there was a lot of he swore or frick or heck, that kind of thing. There was once where it said holy F with a hyphen after it. So you answer that question. I don't know. Technically none. As far as violence and the trigger warnings are going to overlap here. It was very high. It is a dark mafia book, so there is torture, illegal activity, kidnapping, physical and mental abuse, murder on page, weapons, alcohol, all the things. Now, that is the con of this book, is there's toxic stuff. They gaslighted each other to flirt. They choked hard enough to leave bruises while kissing. And it kind of makes you feel conflicted because the characters are doing what they can to bring light into the only world they know with the found family that they need to support. But just remember, you agreed to the dark part of the rom-com as well in this story. Thankfully, the author says that they're pink flags at best because it's always good intentions. Her characters are very lovable, even if you're like, yeah, that's kind of behavior. So just understand that's part of it. And speaking of this content warning stuff, Camilla's author note was gold as always. Number one pro every time is her author notes. So basically it was, don't be dumb. If you're sensitive, read the warnings. If you don't, then you don't get to be mad about any of the content in the book because you chose to ignore the information provided. And I agree. Seriously, people, if you know yourself and you respect yourself enough to be gentle, then you're good. But these authors pour hours and days and weeks, months, and sometimes years into these books, which is why you'll never see a 1 or 2 star review from me, because it means it wasn't for me. Not that the author did anything wrong, it wasn't for me. So basically, please, for the love, read the warnings if you're going to be annoyed with any content in books. I know that people are like, oh, the blurbs or the tropes or the different things, quote unquote, ruin the surprise, but then better be ready for any surprise the author decides to throw in there, because You intentionally ignored the warning. So I'm going to get off my soapbox. And we're going to move on. But just, there you go. Camilla's author notes are always the best. Now, quotes. This book is so quotable and touching, where it starts with, take a deep breath and let yourself exist. It's allowed. Everything is deep, but nothing is so serious that it can't be fixed. Nothing. It can take time and effort. It can haunt and torment, but it can be overcome. No feeling is a forever feeling. Or the cute, make you smile stuff. The one said, put plainly, I'm too freaking old to have a crush. It's going to give me an aneurysm. Or, no, we are not going to catastrophize this situation. Everything is fine. Or, always best to let the delusional remain in their merry worlds for as long as they can. The conversation, you all right? Fantastic, can't you tell? Oh yeah, totally. I too openly saw when I'm doing well. I had noticed that, yes. And probably my favorite one was, what in the Uno reverse card do you mean? There was just so many good parts, but the absolute favorite part for me was Corbin yelling, hey, from the chair. So I hope you'll jump over to my social media, Instagram, enjoylifewithme.angela, book talk, enjoylifewithme_Angela. All my other stuff will be linked in the link tree in those show notes. And I hope you'll tell me what you think the best part of this book is, because there are some really good ones. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Happy reading.